Today, we've got Thursday Night Football with the Broncos and the Chargers. Thanks for getting it rolling here, Dane. And of course, I had to wait for my guy, Big T. I couldn't go on solo. I had to wait for my man. Big T, were you coming back from lunch? Was I right?
Oh, yeah. Always the 1 o'clock time frame's slightly tight for me because I usually eat at 12. I was back at like 1:05, had to get things fired up. But, yeah, it was a good guess. Safe guess at the 1 o'clock window.
Safe guess. Did the fam roll with you, the whole crew, or was it just you at
No.
the lunch?
Uncle T doesn't go to places where you eat actual food. And we went to a barbecue place today. Uncle T doesn't eat like barbecue stuff. There's no way.
Yeah. No, Uncle T's like limited to pizza and chicken tenders.
Yep.
So
That's it.
if there's no
Maybe a
pizza or
hot
chicken
dog here
tenders,
and there or something, but
does,
that's
does
it.
he eat a hot dog too? Can
Like
we add hot
the
dogs?
the skyline and like the
Okay.
conies.
Yeah, like the chili dogs or whatever they're called.
That's it though.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, there we
You
go.
go to a
Uncle T.
barbecue place, there's no way he's going.
No, God, we went to that place when I was with you. Is it the same place? That
I
barbecue
mean, we
place?
go to all the same places. Probably. I don't remember where we
Probably.
right on the corner. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. It was like me, you, and maybe Mangone. I can't remember, but
I'm sure
I know Papa T was there when I went. Papa T and his, I remember him there. So, yeah, fun stuff here. But we've got a football game to talk about here. An interesting football game, maybe not from a DFS fantasy side, but from a playoff side, Tony, which me and you were talking about before we jumped on real quick. This game is very, very important for the playoffs because right now the Chargers and the Broncos have those wild card spots. Pretty much the last two teams in. The Broncos have a 1-game lead, but your team, the Bengals, they're behind and they need something to happen in this game. So I don't know if you want to touch on it real quick because I know you like it from a betting perspective, anyways. But touch on it real quick.
Yeah, I just think it's a huge game, and honestly, we're getting into a big part of the schedule where all these games. I mean, Snyder sent a tweet earlier today with all these big games coming. I mean, college football playoffs. We got Saturday football, like Kansas City, Houston. We got it's just awesome time if you like football. I love these couple weeks during the holidays because you're hanging out, you're with family, friends, whatever you got going on, but you're watching every day. We got big football games. And if you like sports like we do, we love this stuff. You got something every day. Last night, our Run Pure members everywhere, because Bruce, no one knows this freaking info better than Bruce for college football. Last night, those of you that played college football, there's a receiver for Western Kentucky that everyone said was out. He was in the portal. Everyone's like, he's not going to play. There was some Instagram thing. This is what makes college football so fun, but I'm selling why Bruce. Everyone analyzes everything because there's no news. It's not like pro football. You have to like dig deep in the underground stuff to see stuff. And everyone thought this guy was out, and Bruce was just dead certain he was going to play. And he played. He didn't like crush or anything, but it just gives you that extra info. And Run Pure logos were just everywhere on that leaderboard last night. Top 7 spots for a while. The guy, it didn't end up being top 7, but first and second place, $30K in winnings on a random Wednesday night in December with Western Kentucky playing in a bowl game. That's what you get at Run Pure, though. You get guys like Bruce that are just amazing at what they do. And now we got bowl games pretty much every day. We got the big boys coming in tomorrow. The playoff games start. The first of 3 or 4 sets of playoff games, and it's going to be great. It's only going to get better. So now's the time to get in at Run Pure with all this stuff going. But
yeah,
big football game tonight.
Especially too on days, Tony, where like yesterday, like what's going on yesterday? The NBA just decided to take the random Wednesday off for some reason, and then they come back with 11 games tonight on a football Thursday, which I mean the schedule. You can't even make up whoever made this NBA schedule. It's just hilarious. But you got CFB. You only got so many things going on, and Bruce is out there grinding, and that's the extra you get. Maybe you sign up at Run Pure Sports because you want the football content or you want the NBA content, but you get the whole package, and then you don't realize, like, oh crap, like there's nothing going on tonight. What's going on tonight? there's a small CFB slate. I'll play the CFB because there's not much going on, and bang. So that's just what happens. But that's the best part of the membership is if you get the full thing, even if you're only looking for one or two sports, you have everything else if you decide on a random day you want to play.
And I promise, like, you know how many times I get, even like hockey. I like hockey when I don't know anything about it. Put some teams in. You're going to like it more than you think. Like, say you don't watch college football all year, but you're going to your in-laws or something and you know there's a game on. You can pop a team in there. You haven't watched all year, but you get in the Discord, you see what people are saying, and you get in there. Like, that's what makes it fun. So I love that stuff. And I love Phallic I'm so glad that Phallic wrote this. Yeah, Steve knows. Steve's in there crushing with it. Steve's crushing college hoops too. We got that in there.
I was just going to say another guy who's grinding another sport that pretty much they have games for what, like almost every day, Tony. So if there's not much going on, I mean, college basketball, bang, you can play some college basketball. Stevie Boynton's got you covered. What's Phallic saying here? What's he saying here? I refuse to believe that the reason this game is important for the playoffs is because of the Bengals.
Well, the next one's even better, and I'm glad he wrote this because he's talking about the Chargers side, which I was explaining to JSU beforehand. I think I jacked up my Twitter feed or something because that message popped up, but whatever. I was explaining this to JSU that it's not the Chargers side that makes it easy for the Bengals, because if the Chargers win tonight and the Bengals win Sunday or Saturday, they play Saturday now, whatever day they play, Sunday this week, Saturday next week. Yeah. Saturday next week versus the Bengals. But then they play the Broncos next week. If they win, then all of a sudden in week 18, if the Broncos win and the Bengals lose, the Bengals are in, Phallic. So that's what the issue is. Yeah, if the Chargers lose, then yeah, they're still the Bengals can't pass the Chargers. The Chargers are not the issue. But and it's for the division because what? The Broncos are up a game. The Chargers won game one when these teams played because I remember I buried the Chargers in the game. So if the Chargers win tonight, they're going to be ahead of the Broncos, I assume, in the standings because they beat them twice. Although it might come down to division record or something for the wild card since it's not the division or whatever. But either way, it is a massive game for the playoffs. Both teams need to win. I don't think it's going to be the most exciting game in the world, fantasy-wise, or just to watch. But if you're a fan of football, it's a great game, and I'm a fan of football, so I'm going to enjoy that.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting that even though the Broncos are a game up on the Chargers, they actually need the Broncos to win, and then they play them next week.
Beat the damn Chargers that game when they had them beat the whole freaking game. Then it would be the opposite. But yeah,
the story of the Bengals season right here, ladies and gentlemen. If
you know what's going to happen too. They're going to win the next two. The Broncos are going to lose the next two. And then week 18, the Chiefs are just going to sit everyone. And it's not going to matter.
That's good. No, that's definitely what's going to happen. I'm going to laugh when it happens too. They're going to get you all the way, Tony, to where you're like, oh, I think I got it. And then there's bang, everyone's sitting. Screw it. But
I'll call your bluff again then. 48-1. Okay, AP, give me 48-1 since it's only 2%. I'll call you out like Snyder. It's only 2%. How much can I put at 48-1?
AP just went quietly back into the
48 is 2%. Let's go. How much can I put?
What I was gonna say though, before you started going in on AP was, oh God, now I just lost my train of thought. What was I gonna say? I think I was gonna say something though along the lines of the fact that the Bengals season is gonna rely on. This is the best part, people. This is the best part of the whole thing. When the Chiefs rest their starters. Tony, who is their backup quarterback?
Yeah, Wentz is going to punish me.
You're going to rely on Carson Wentz to win you a football game, dude. It literally, that would be you rooting on Carson Wentz for your Bengals to get to the fucking play.
Get my jersey out.
Please, God, if we get this, we need Big T live streaming himself, rooting on Carson Wentz, doing windmills when he picks up a first down, throws a tutty. I mean, that would be gold.
Probability is you not accepting my bet, AP. That's what the probability states.
there was a low probability you were going to accept that bet anyways. So I put it
because
at
it's
pretty
not
much
true
0.
odds. You can whatever the probabilities are what the betting line is. It's 7-1 on our partner DraftKings right now. 7-1 to make the playoffs. DraftKings.
Yeah. And on
Not
some
48
books,
to 1,
and on
7 to
some
1.
books, they're bigger than that.
Not
You
48
can
to
go
1 anywhere though.
not 48 to 1. No, for sure. So, all right. Well, that's the Bengals talk. We always got to get in a little Bengals talk.
I love how it's a random Thursday game and you bring up the Bengals. It does matter though. Uh-oh. Looks like JSU might have, or I might have froze, either me or JSU.
Am
Did
I back?
freeze or did you?
I couldn't tell.
I can hear your voice. Oh, yeah, that now it looks like it's back. It like froze up for a second. Might have been mine or yours. I don't know.
Yeah, it might have been mine. I have no idea. But all right, hopefully that doesn't happen again and we can just go on to the football here. So, from a DFS side, Tony, you said this game might not be the most exciting from a DFS showdown perspective. I kind of agree with you. I have a feeling that we're going to get back to our roots here. Kickers, Tony, when we get down to the kickers, but just from the game perspective, how do you see this game playing out? Because I kind of like the dog here. I know we were talking about like what needs to happen. I don't care about any of that. Big T's got the Bengals bets. I don't have any Bengals bets. So, there's no homerism. There's no rooting on my bets here when I say, I mean, I've been right about this Denver team whenever I felt strongly about them too. I had the call, was it last week or the week before on them? I think it was last week where they rolled. Just like certain mismatches, I think that Denver has a really good spot here to win, even on the road. I like teams that really need to run the football to be good football teams. And in my opinion, the Chargers, since J.K. Dobbins has gone down, kind of the offensive linemen, they had spots where they were out for a little bit. Since that happened and they've had to move to like these other guys, they haven't been as effective on offense, Tony. They've had to rely more on Justin Herbert. And I know people love Justin Herbert. I think he's great. But the problem with Justin Herbert is he always gets friggin' injured because he's just like Pat Mahomes in the way that he plays through everything, right, Tony? Like, I don't know what I would literally have to like snap this dude's leg in half for him to be like not going on the football field. I just always come back to that time where I was certain he wasn't going to play after seeing him get like killed on the football field. And then he played the next week. And every time he threw the football, he would like grab I think it was a ribs or something like that, Tony. I think he like did something to his ribs. And I just remember like every throw and he would like grab his side after just like in pain. And it's like, yeah, you're not human. Mahomes, same thing. Like the guy, his ankle like gets rolled up like crazy and he's just back playing and running around and doing what he wants. They're the same thing. The problem though is, Tony, that's toughness, but now you lose your ability to move around in the pocket, to run, which he was having success doing earlier in the season. He's not having as much success now. And I think even just last game, he looked good up until he didn't when he got rolled up on, I'm pretty sure his ankle again. And then he started to slow down. And then the Bucs, who, by the way, we've been pretty high on that Bucs team, and the Bucs look pretty damn good right now. I know my guy Stats has like a power rankings thing, and he's been rating the Bucs pretty high for a while too. So Stats has been all over this too, but always struggling to run the football. That's a bad matchup for the Chargers. So why'd you say uh-oh?
Keeps freezing.
Mine keeps freezing?
Or mine. I keep your voice like keeps like, and then your face freezes at times.
God, I hope it's your internet and not the actual internet like my internet.
I think it's yours. I'm going to be honest. I'm not 100% after the noise issues we've had on Sundays when I can't hear it, but I'm pretty sure it's yours in this case. I'm not 100%.
Some people are saying it's mine, so
it just like freezes every once in a while, like you're totally frozen.
That's weird because normally, if that's the case, I'll like see a circle on my screen. I'll see like
it's not
the internet
for long each time. It keeps coming back, but it definitely freezes. It's
well,
the
if
drones,
it happens,
AP says.
Yeah. If it keeps happening, maybe I'll have to like restart it real quick. But All right. Either way, I like Denver here, if that's not clear anyways. I like teams that can stuff the run against the Chargers, and the Chargers have been rough against the run. So where are you at with this game, Tony?
It's a game where I'm on the under more so than the sides, just because I think both teams are going to struggle to move the ball and score. I really do. I think it's going to be a field goal game, as you kind of led into the whole thing. I think both teams are going to struggle to convert for touchdowns in this game. I think they might be able to move a little bit in between the 20s because it's the way the defenses operate. And you got two pretty good field goal kickers. So I think it's a low scoring. I mean, I know it's a low total anyways, 41 total. This, to me, is a game clear as day that you can play kickers, even in the captain, because you got quarterbacks we're going to like, but not super high projections. And I know I always state like that Giants-Cowboys game that everybody at Run Pure won like $1 zillion in Showdown. But these are the type of games that you can play kicker captains because – say one of these kicker kicks 5 field goals, which is definitely in the realm of possibility, and there's only 2 touchdowns or something. That's all it takes. Like, say Sutton gets the touchdown and McConkey or something, and then a bunch of field goals. Like, it's just going to be that build that gets to the winner, and that's how I see it tonight. I see 2 or 3 touchdowns total and a bunch of field goals. I just think. And on top of it, the prices aren't like incredible. I mean, you even got guys like Vidal, 6,800. Who else? Stone Smart's up to 4,200. You just don't get any like crazy price breaks. The cheap guys are like not good plays, in my opinion. Don't get me wrong. Like, could Darius Davis or someone house a punt or an end around or something? Sure. But I don't see much in the value range, which makes it even more a mid-range type slate at the captain. So I don't know. Aside, I guess I like the Broncos, but I don't have conviction just because I don't see either team scoring. So I think it just comes down to who makes the last field goal and wins by 3.
Well, okay, so you would lean the Broncos though if you had to
Just because
pick a
they're a
side?
dog, like I'll take my chances with the points, but I don't love this matchup for Denver, though. I just don't think they're going to be able to score either. So, but I don't think the Chargers are going to be able to score. So,
I was going to
I'll
say,
just
I think
take
it's
the
going to be
point.
low scoring. So yeah, just
Yeah.
take the points in that case. Right. And you brought up the pricing. So I mean, like that's the next thing I want to touch on anyways, because you brought up the running backs. Like you look at the top tier of these guys, Bo Nix, Justin Herbert, Sutton, Lad McConkey. Those are your 9K and up guys, Tony. Like I see, Lad McConkey's got upside. I guess you could look to him like a volume type game. We've seen a couple big games out of Cortland Sutton here. But he's been more like consistent, in my opinion, as opposed to like big ceiling games. But he has had a couple, in the like 25-ish. But what are you doing here with these top guys? Because I think it's clear like Bo Nix definitely has the biggest ceiling.
Yeah, I would consider both teams almost mirror images of each other in a lot of ways. Where, I mean, Herbert and Bo Nix aren't like that similar of players, but they can both move a little bit with their feet. I mean, Bo Nix is probably definitely a better runner, worse passer. Herbert, better runner. Or I mean, worse runner, better passer, but they can both do both. They're pretty similar, honestly. And Herbert is at home. And then you got the top receivers for each team also are pretty similar to me with McConkey and Sutton, where they're going to be a lot of possession type guys. Their floors are high, I would say. I don't think either one of them has like insane ceilings. I think they're both solid, which again brings me back to the mid-range captain, where I don't think any of these 4 guys have that high of ceilings, which brings me just to that mid-range where if you get something from the mid-range, you can play 3 or 4 of these studs and then another cheapie. And that just feels like the only roster construction for me tonight. I don't see a way around it because what even just out of curiosity, if we played a kicker captain, let me put it in just so if I'm saying it, I'm not an idiot. So let's just do Dicker to kicker because he's more expensive. And then just say you wanted to play all 4 of these. Herbert, Nix, Sutton, McConkey. It leaves you with 3,100, which to me is very doable just because if I can have a team with all 4 of these guys tonight, with how many unknowns there are in the game, and yeah, if you want to put like Quentin Johnson in there and take a chance, but I think McConkey's just so much safer. And I think all these guys, again, gets you to like 15 points at least, where if you get 15 from all 4 of these guys, I think you're very, very good shape if you can get lucky and hit. And it doesn't have to be a kicker. I mean, it could be Vidal or something catches a bunch of dump offs, or Stone Smart catches a touchdown and some stuff. But a mid-range guy to where I can play all 4 of those guys is my roster construction tonight. I can almost guarantee it, unless some value opens up that I'm not. I mean, like Estime is 56 freaking hundred. There's no value out there. So I want these 4 in the utility, and I want to find a captain in this mid-range that can make it work for me. It is exactly where I'm at tonight.
Well, we're definitely on the same page from a captain standpoint then. But like, how would you rank those guys, Bo Nix, Herbert, Sutton, McConkey, if you had to?
I would still have to put Herbert number 1 just because he's at home. I trust him more than Bo Nix, even though I like Bo Nix. And I do consider them very similar in this spot. Just if I have to rank them, though, I think I would trust Herbert more in this spot than Bo Nix. And then I would probably trust Sutton just a little bit more than McConkey just because I've seen it more. So I know it's kind of – but it's one of the reasons that I want to play all 4. I don't want to have to pick between these 4. I just want to play them. So if I want to play them, I'd rather gamble on a different spot.
Yeah, no, more the reason I was saying rank them was because, like, I do think when you get those mid-tier builds, that's going to be super popular just to jam those 4. So, like, playing 3 of them and then trying to go down to.
So which one don't you play? That's a better ranking.
That's the better question.
I don't know how you separate them. I really don't.
That's a tough one. I think I'd either go Herbert or Sutton, as crazy as that sounds. Like the reverse of,
because the projections like drop off so much after those 4, where you just have so much unknown after that.
I mean, it kind of makes sense though. Look at these other guys up here.
They're terrible. That's why I just want to play all 4 of them. It reminds me of the Bengals game where we argued a little bit about it, but I did agree with your point of view where if you didn't play the 3 Bengals studs, you would be different. But my point in that game was I just think it's the winner. And like tonight, I just think it's the winner again. So like if I think it's the winner.
Well, remember though, people were asking, can you play 4 even, right? And you were like, I don't think that's probably the shipper, but I think you could cash if you just said, I'm going to play these 4 guys. And, then it's like, you don't have to pick between the one guy that doesn't do good. Right. So it's like, I don't know
how I would separate them. Like they're so similar to me. Herbert and Nix are similar. I guess if you like played a kicker on one side, you could fade that quarterback and play the other side just as basic correlation. Like if you played Dicker at captain, you would fade Herbert. I guess that would be how I would do it if I faded one.
The way I kind of look at it is the Denver wide receivers outside of Sutton are super cheap and the Chargers ones are not outside of Ladd. So I'd want Ladd and then I'd want to take a shot that like one of those cheap guys, like a Ville, like a Troy Franklin, a Marvin, you know what I'm saying? Like one of those guys hits the winner somehow. Like I think that's my path with the Bo Nix thing. So maybe maybe I should be higher on Bo Nix, and then I fade Sutton, even though I know he's the better projection play, and try and pair him with one of those cheap guys because we don't think there's a lot of offense. So I'm not saying a bunch of receivers go off, right, Tony? We're not saying that. But if one of them can get me like 15 somehow, and Cortland Sutton only gets like 12, I don't know, it could happen. I'm not saying it's 100, like it's a big odds to happen, but there's a chance it happens. And I think it's worth taking a shot on because I do think everyone's going to jam those 4, especially if they go mid-tier.
I mean, I agree. I just
like the next range is the range I can't get on board with any of these guys. And I don't know how you do unless you're just trying to be like unless you just say
Correct.
like Quentin Johnston over Ladd McConkey because he's not going to be as highly owned and
I don't know how you can pay $8,400 for Quentin. And he's been good, but there's nothing I hate more than guys when like you see they got 15 the last couple games and you're like, oh, that's pretty good. But then you look and they scored both games and it's like, they're only getting 15 when they're scoring. Do I really want? They're not going to score like that every week. So, I mean, 8,400 when you can pay 9,400 for McConkey. The only way you can do it is if you're just trying to be different, which is fine. It's Showdown. Maybe Quentin catches 2 bombs tonight and he's in the winner. Yeah, and he's going to freaking drop it. Yeah.
I think he needs to catch 2 bombs, to be honest with you.
He's got to get 2. He's proven it. He's got 15 points with. I mean, 15 could be on the winner, but 8,400. I think he's got to score twice too.
Yeah, and I don't love the outside matchup as much as the inside matchup. You know what I mean? Like Ladd playing in the slot. Javonte, I definitely can't get on board with. He's just this has not been a good year for Javonte. He's been really bad.
And they still run all of these guys. I mean, to me,
McLaughlin is out. McLaughlin's out. So there's only
3, right?
Well, they've got Javonte and Estime is the clear 1-2. Now, do they roll with a third guy? Like, do they bring in a third guy and play him a few snaps? Maybe. I think it's majority those 2 guys, though.
Well, last week, the snaps were 21 and 54. McLaughlin had 24. Yeah, I mean, you're probably right.
I mean, like that's not saying they couldn't use like a fullback on some third down plays.
And they'll use Burton a little, but they can't.
Yeah, they'll use Burton a little bit, but
this is the winner right here from our boy Sam. Total under 4.5 tutties. It's only minus 135. I love that.
Is that on DK, Sam?
Better be on DK, that. Sam.
Hashtag DK. Come on. Got to get the DK Sportsbook odds going here. But, yeah, I like that bet 100%. That's a good bet here. I literally could just see field goals. Like, that's how fun. Like, now, Tony, since we think that, it maybe the fade is the quarterback, one of the quarterbacks. Maybe that's just the fade.
Yeah.
I
just don't like. Why do we want to fade one of them?
No, I'm not saying you have to. I'm just saying if you had to fade one,
I think
who would that one be?
For sure. Because Sutton and McConkey, I think, are just super safe for like 12 to 16 range, which is pretty good shape on this slate.
Yeah. All right. So keep going down the list here. We talked about Javonte, Gus Edwards at 7K. No friggin'
There's literally no way I'm playing Javonte.
I mean, Kamani Vidal at 6'8", and I like Vidal, but like 6'8", there's just literally no value in that price tag. He is playing way more than Gus, though.
I don't know how you could play Gus over Vidal. Like, I actually think Vidal is like a much better play than Javonte and Gus. Even though the projection's less, I think he's like a way better play.
Especially if you think they're trailing. Like, if you think that Denver gets up in this game, then Kamani is definitely the better play. Like, but I agree with you. I kind of like Kamani and Estime more than paying for Javonte and or Gus. Is how
I'm just not playing Javonte or Gus. There's no way. If they beat me, they beat me.
No. Because the way they beat you is they probably get some like short yardage touchdown or 2.
Which they probably will. They always do on us, but still. We know the PI's coming at the 1.
What do you think of the captain play? Because I mean, he's not mid. He's close to mid tier. Like,
yeah, I'd rather play one of these kickers. But if you had a perfect build where I got those 4 guys, I got Vidal. The problem is, even with the kicker, like I said, I'm down to 3K from my last spot. Because if I play Vidal and the captain, I have to play those 4 guys in a build like that.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be contrarian. So, but that means you got to take a chance on just a super cheap guy, which I don't like anything below 3K outside of just literally throwing a dart. And the whole reason to play a captain like that is to not have to throw a dart, in my opinion.
Well, that's the whole reason. Yeah, is to play or to just play like one cheap guy at most, but like not super cheap. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
that's
a guy like you can play with the kicker is Troy Franklin. Like I'm much more comfortable playing because he's got upside. I mean, he does. Some of these other guys don't have upside. Troy Franklin has 20+ point upside.
Yeah, and Troy Franklin, I mean, I don't want to get too far down the list here because we're kind of skipping down a little bit, but I think Troy Franklin, you could play in the captain on this slate.
Oh, yeah.
Because him getting 12 to 15 on this slate, it might be the winner in the captain, Tony, if the game goes the way that I think it could go, like where there's not many touchdowns at all. Maybe there's like 2 touchdowns total, a few field goals. This game ends, and you're looking at, I don't know, like 17 to 13 or something like that. Like anything in that ballpark, like 15 could get you with a cheap captain, could get you the winner right there. So I definitely think he's in play. He also ran the most routes outside of, we're not counting Sutton, obviously ran the most routes or anyone, but him and Ville were 2-3, and there was only a 1 route difference between Ville and Franklin. So he ran 19 routes, Ville ran 20, but like pretty much almost split even between those guys. And then Marvin Mims ran 10, and little Jordan Humphrey ran 9. So it was nice to see that Troy Franklin kind of took that step and was playing a little bit more, at least from like a receiver standpoint with the routes and everything like that. So I like him a good deal. But Josh Palmer, we didn't talk about here. He's kind of in that 6,400 dead range. You were talking about Quentin Johnston. I would rather spend 2K less and play Josh Palmer. I think he still has some upside. I think he's ran bad on some plays. He's been missed deep a couple of times. But I think he does have some upside here, Tony, for like a big play and stuff. And I also think that, he's kind of the secondary or even third guy that teams are going to key in on. So, at 6,400, what do you think about Palmer over QJ? I don't know what the projection is. I'm assuming Quentin's projection's pretty high or higher than his.
Yeah. He's projected higher, but I agree with you because I like Josh Palmer, and I think he's a really good play in that number. I think I like him more still like a flex type option, but he's the type of guy that could be a second, like a last piece in on a cheap captain build. Like say you played who are we just talking about? Say we played a Franklin captain, where if you played him instead of a kicker captain, you could fit in a guy like Josh Palmer as your last guy, where you got both quarterbacks and 2. This is what we always talk about on these shows. It ends up with both quarterbacks and 2 pass catchers from each side. And it's a non-kicker build that I think, if you think there's a little bit more scoring, I think a winner like that could easily happen. And I love Josh Palmer. I like Josh Palmer and Vidal a lot more than the secondary Denver guys, which I think – as far as floors, at least, because I do agree with the Denver pieces. Like all of these Denver pieces, I think are priced a lot nicer, but they also have a lot more risk. Like I think Josh Palmer is somewhat safe for like 8 to 12 points with upside if he scores a touchdown to get you 15, 16 or something. So,
and with upside that you never know what happens in the game, right? What happens when Ladd goes out? Well, you know what I mean? Like,
easily could happen.
Look what happened when Sincere went out and you got the Abdullah just smash game in the Monday night game, right? It's just like, when these things happen during the game, like can't really account for it, but you can say like the what ifs and like, yeah, it could boost him up a lot. Malcolm, he really wants an interview, Tony. I don't know why, but Malcolm, I'll say this, buddy. If you win the big DraftKings tournament tonight, we'll get you on here. We'll talk to you. Sean's pretty cool though. I will say Sean was pretty damn cool. So just throwing that out there, Malcolm. So
I don't know.
You'd have a lot to live up to.
Oh, he means us interview him. I thought he meant him interview us.
No, he means him. Oh. Yeah, I'm in. If you ship the $20 tonight, 15. $15 on DraftKings.
Definitely.
Then we'll have you on, Malcolm. 100%. Yeah.
Who was that dude we brought on the one time, and then he started hating us like a week later? Who was that dude on the playbacks that loved us? He loved us, and then he turned on us. He got mad at us.
Yeah. I know exactly who you're talking about, too.
He was a confident guy.
Yeah, I can't put his name.
Chad, who was the dude that loved us and now he hates us? Someone will remember. This dude came on
funny.
The playbacks and was like super into it, loved us, played the worst dudes ever. We laughed, we had a good time, and then he just started to hate us. I forget why he started to hate us, but we did something to piss him off.
It's how it goes. You know, what can you do? Can't make everyone happy, Tony. Can't make
Joe Ruff gets through. I'll be there too, Raxon.
That's right. Man, he hates us? What the hell, Raxon?
You haven't seen him in there? I remember he was mad one day about something. I can't remember what he was mad at.
Oh, I hope that's not true, Raxon.
We didn't do like a 10 p.m. Showdown slate one day or something, and he was heated about it.
Hate to see it, Raxon. I still think Raxon's a nice guy, though. I'll still give him the benefit of I think he's a nice guy.
I didn't say we were mad at him. I said he was mad at us.
Yeah, well, you know, again, like I said, sometimes there's nothing you can do. You know what I mean? Try your best. Flamingo man.
Fun of his
Flamingo man.
Yeah, he had the flamingo backdrop. Come on.
Oh yes, he did. Yeah, damn. Get out of here, Raxon. Yeah, he was saying some crazy shit on the playback too. I remember that. Now that you say it. He was saying some wild shit, man. Yeah, man. Whew. All right. Back to the football talk here. So we got to my guy Audric Estime, who's 5,600. Another guy is still like kind of priced up a little bit more than what I would like, and I can't imagine the projection's good on him. He's just someone like I think you play honestly just to, you know, like what if Javonte goes out? Like Audric could kind of back himself into more work, you know, or something like that. And we did see Bucky Irving and the Bucks have some success running the football on the Chargers, and they gashed them a little bit.
That team's a buzzsaw running the ball, though. They're like a freight train, the Tampa team. They run on everybody.
I mean, they're just good. I think their offense is good. Like
I think Baker, they're like well coached too. Like they're like super well schemed.
Yes, Baker is, you know, he has his up and his down games and stuff like that, but I definitely think they're well coached and stuff. So, but either way, like, what do you think about him at 5,600? Like, you have Vidal at 6,800. Like, what are you doing with him?
I can't play these Broncos running backs. They're just too bad. If I lose because this dude at 5,600 beats me, who hasn't got more than, granted, I know that McLaughlin's been in there most, but he hasn't got more than 5 fantasy points all year. And he's 5,600 against a team that I consider to be a pretty tough defense, like solid defense. Nothing, I know Tampa got him, but I just can't do it. If he beats me, he beats me. At least I think there's upside with like Palmer and Vidal. Like if it was only Estime at 5,600 and not Javonte, I would still have a somewhat hard time clicking it. I wouldn't love it. But if it was only him, I might like it. But man, I just don't see it at all. The Broncos side is clear cut for me. It's just the cheap receivers, Sutton, Bo.
Well, I think too with the Broncos, it's more just like they have cheap receivers, so like you can spend up more for the Vidals on the Chargers or the Josh Palmers or you know and
clear
stuff like that. I will say though, Estime does have a path. I will just say that, but he's probably going to need a little help. It's going to need to be like they come out and their offense is just flat for multiple drives. Right. And then he gets a drive and maybe he does something good and Peyton just sticks with them because Peyton is just tough. Like you just don't know what he's going to do with these guys. So if you told me though, it was a 50-50 split, I would play some Audric Estime because I do think he would definitely be the better back of the two given the chance. But I just don't know what the split is going to end up being. Like if you told me he only played 20%.
Another issue though is he just doesn't catch passes. Like even in college, he wasn't a pass catcher. You just don't have that many outs with him.
You can literally tell he's not a pass catcher, like when you watch him play. But the problem with Sean Payton's offense, the running backs got to be able to.
Of course, Fallick likes him. You would like him, Fallick.
I mean, I like him. I think he's a good back.
I'm close to giving now that Fallick's on him, and I'm close to putting the guarantee on the line.
Do it right now.
I can't. He's too cheap for me to put it on the line fully. But
I thought we were gonna have him, chat. I thought we were gonna have him.
I can't do it. I like doing it on like popular guys, though. I don't like doing it on a low-owned guy.
He's not going to be owned like it.
Well, that's what I mean. I don't want to put my guarantee on like I don't like making fun of tournament plays as much.
Yeah,
I like making fun of chalky plays.
Let's talk about the last 4 games. Go. I just want to see what he says in the last 4 games.
I don't know.
He's just going to talk about Estime's last 4 games, stuff like that. I don't know.
Let him do what he wants. Chargers defense.
Oh, the Chargers defense. Well, I said their defense hasn't been that good, but all right. So you don't like Estime. I'm a little more on Estime. I'll play a little Estime. So the kickers we both like. We don't have to discuss that.
Just because Fallick, this is the stuff I just don't like. Like, okay, so Baltimore ran on him, great run game. Falcons ran on him, great run game. Chiefs run on them. Chiefs suck, but they had 90. I would compare the Chiefs run game to the Broncos run game. 96 yards. That is a comparison for me. Tampa is a buzzsaw running the ball. Tampa might have the best run game in all of football by my numbers. They run on everybody. So, yeah, okay, so they gave up rushing yards to all the good running teams. Denver is not a good running team at all. Denver has been terrible running the ball. You got to look at both sides. If the offense can't run the ball, what is the defense? I mean, no. There's no there's no freaking. I'm not putting the guy. You just keep tempting me to put the guarantee on the line. This dude is not going to be in the winner. There's no way.
Now these are bets I can get on board with.
Well, actually, I would rather do that than put him in my DFS because it's plus 360.
That is much better. So I'm with you.
70 is plus 950. So if you want to play him in DFS, just bet that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not playing them in DFS. I'm betting those. I'm betting those right now as we speak.
Think about that right now. Think about that though. If you want to play him in DFS, how many points do you need at 5,600? 12 or more?
I would say double digits. Yeah, 11,
and you're
12.
literally getting. So if he gets 50 plus at a touchdown, that's like 4-1 odds.
That's like 12, isn't it?
I mean,
like
you're just like the odds are telling you not to play the guy. Just bet it.
Yeah, I'm gonna bet it. That's a good point. Let's see, Puig's RPS. What's this here? Sweater that just came in. Thank you, Mrs. Tony. Yep, Amber is her name, but yes, Mrs. Tony.
Some gear.
Yeah, he must have got gear. That's Puig from the Discord. Old Puig, our guy.
Seen a bunch of boxes go out a few days ago. She sent a bunch of stuff out.
It's Christmas time. She should be sending stuff out. Where's my box? Amber, where's my box? Come on, send it over. I want new gear. Woo!
11-1 for 50 and a touchdown. So just think about that. That's what you need him to be in the winner. You need that for him to be in the winner, and you're getting 11-1 odds. That is just a bad DFS play.
But it's a
good
problem
is I don't think he gets that. Like I don't think they run the ball on the Chargers.
You are always a downer. All right, you always poo-poo everything that looks fun. I'm going to start comparing.
It's not going to be fun when the dude gets 22 yards and you're sitting there rooting on him all night.
What if he gets 50 yards though?
Then we have fun.
Exactly. What's wrong? You used to like fun. We used to make fun of the people that didn't like fun, like Fallick. All right. And now you're just with them. Now you're just with Fallick. Somehow you became Team Fallick. I don't know why.
Would Estime thrive on the Bengals, though? Oh, man.
I like Samuel. Good stuff. All right. Defenses, Tony. We didn't talk about defenses here. Can you play some defense? I know we like the kickers, obviously, and you think it's a low-scoring game. Broncos defense has been good. Granted, they've scored a lot with their defense, like literally scored touchdowns with their defense. So, what are you doing with these defenses?
I don't like them as much as I do for low scoring. I just don't. Both offenses are pretty conservative. Uh, don't I like them more than like some of the other guys we talked about up top, like Javonte, Estime, those type guys. But I like the kickers way more than the defenses, and they're the same price. So, and I like the cheaper receivers right below as we keep going down. Like those next couple receivers and tight ends, I think are pretty good plays. So honestly, I'll be lower on the D's because they're both about 20% owned too, it looks like. And we're a no D program here. We're a no D. We're against the D, so I don't like them this time.
Facts. All right, we're not hating. We're just telling the truth. All right. No defense. I agree with you 100%. Kickers higher than the defenses. The Chargers, I'm probably going to nix the Chargers completely out, and I probably won't get a ton of the Broncos defense just because of the like mid-tier builds we're doing, Tony. Right, where it's gonna push those like studs in there, and then I'm only gonna have like one spot for like a cheaper play kind of in those builds. So I doubt I'll get a ton of Broncos D. So then we get down to the range you're discussing with the cheap wide receivers. You got Marvin Mims, Stone Smart, VLA, Adam Troutman, which I don't like him. I know he caught a touchdown, but I don't like it. And Troy Franklin. What are we doing here with this range? How would you rank this range? Because I think that's kind of one of the questions that people like, because this is a range people are going to fall in the mid-tier build.
Yeah, so I was going to look real quick at my flow chart that is tougher to read because I haven't put the names in yet. But so Denver's been pretty good against tight ends. The Chargers have been even better against. I mean, the Denver tight ends are guys I just never play. They're just nothing there for me. So I probably won't. The only thing I will say,
the funny part is two of them caught touchdowns last week too,
and they still probably didn't do shit, did they? What did they score?
I mean, Troutman had 10 exactly,
and Kroll didn't catch one.
No, it was Atkins. It was literally the two guys that played the least, Tony, of the tight, like ran the least amount of routes.
2 for 20 and a touchdown. I mean,
Atkins had 8.5, 1 for 15 and a touchdown.
I mean, they're the worst tight end team in football. The only thing at all I'll say is Kroll is 1,200, and there's just no cheap plays on this slate that have floors. And if it somehow ended up a game that we always talk about where one of the cheap guys is in the winner, whoever scores the most, like last week was 1.5 in the Dallas game, I think Kroll out of all the cheapies has the best chance to like get 3 for the winner than some of those other guys. So I'll leave him in my player pool, even though I don't like it. But this mid-range, like you said, is the sweet spot for me. I like Stone Smart the best, I think. I was hoping Denver was a little worse against tight ends. They're pretty good. But the upside, I would say Stone Smart and Vele are like the safe plays. And then Mims and Franklin are the upside plays. And Franklin, just with my roster construction, he played at Oregon with Bo Nix. They played obviously all year this year. I like Franklin. I think I'd put him number 1 as far as upside, because when I'm playing a build like I'm going to tonight with the 4 condom plays up top and just plopping them in there and everyone's got them, I want some upside out of my captain and my lower priced guys just because I got the safety. Basically, if you assume those 4 guys are on the winner, which I do, you only got to hit 2 spots. So you got to hit the 2 spots that score the most in the other spots, and you're good. I like the Denver. I think I'd rank them Franklin, Mims, Smart, Vele. But honestly, I like all 4 of them. I want to live in this range because I feel pretty, even like DJ Chark in like the Millie where it's a big tournament, I think he at least has some upside, especially if someone gets hurt. Like if one of these 3 receivers somehow goes down, I don't like. He's definitely my 5th in this range, below those guys for sure. But in the Millie, I wouldn't be shocked if DJ Chark somehow was the cheap guy that caught a touchdown or something.
No, that wouldn't shock me either, but I do think he's going to need, like you said, I think
Yeah.
it's going to need help for sure.
These Chargers guys always get hurt, though.
A lot of those plays down there needs a little bit of that, right, Tony? You need a little luck on your side at the end of the day for those plays.
Mims, he had the broken play for a touchdown that won our boy Cal all the money a few weeks ago.
Yeah, exactly. That play was just, I mean, the throw was awesome, obviously, but a second late and that thing's a pick is probably a pick six or definitely a pick.
Oh, yeah.
But you know, that's what happens. Mims goes from not being near the winner to like you need Marvin Mims to win. Like you can't. I had good teams that day, but I just didn't have Marvin Mims, so it was annoying because I had everything else, but no Marvin Mims. So you just don't win the top. You have good teams that place, but you don't win the top scoring. So that sucked. But I agree with you from a ranking standpoint. Like Troy Franklin, he's my favorite in this like cheap bucket. I think it would be Troy Franklin.
I feel like tonight's Troy Franklin night. Like I just
that's what I feel like too. Because I like Marvin Mims always has that upside to break one, obviously, just like a big play type thing. But I think Troy Franklin could honestly get you like a decent game. Like I could see him getting you 4 for 50 and a touchdown or something like that. What's that? That gives him like right around 14, 15. Yeah.
It's more than enough.
So I like it. I like him. He would be my favorite for sure. And then I agree with you on Chark. I think he's a good play. I'd rather play Chark than those tight ends. I'd rather play even little Jordan Humphrey. I'd rather play than those tight ends. Like I just don't want the only tight end I'll consider is Stone Smart, and I'm probably going to have him projected a little lower, but he's probably the only tight end I'll
even. Just got such a nice price. Like if you told me I got to have one guy that for sure scores the most in that range, I would for sure take him. But I also don't think he's got like
Stone Smart. Yeah, that's my issue with Stone Smart. I don't think he's a good upside play, but I do think,
he's one of the only guys on the whole slate that his price feels, I would say, somewhat cheap. Like I feel like he could be more.
Yeah, but if it was more, I don't think you would be going to him at all.
And he's still, even at this price, he's not going to be that high owned. Like I think Vele about the same, probably just by their projections, but I don't think he's going to be that high owned.
It's interesting.
Has to be retarded, he said.
Matty Ice, what's up with you changing your name in Discord?
They literally named him. He changed his name?
Yeah, he changed his name. I didn't realize it. I thought I was talking to one of one, and then I realized that I was talking to one of two. What the fuck is one of two, Matty Ice?
You can't change your name, Matty Ice. You're a Run Pure staple from the beginning. JSU's not allowed to change his name. I'm not allowed to change Big T. You're Matty Ice in there. Change your damn name back. Phallic is phallic. Once you get your name established.
Yeah, it would be one thing if you were new to the Run Pure Sports community. Yeah. I didn't know you. We didn't interact that much in Discord, and you changed your name. That'd be one thing. But you're friggin' Matty Ice. You can't be changing your name.
I didn't even know it was him. I wouldn't even know it's him. He's one of my favorites from the beginning.
He changed the damn logo, too, so it's really fucking me up. Like, literally.
One of one says it's the bit. Well, the bit sucks. We don't want a new bit. We want Matty Ice back.
Wiley, if you made this bit, fix it. All right. Fix it on the next show. Make a new bit with Matty Ice. Make sure he knows this
Matty
bit
Ice
sucks.
is like a top 5 Run Pure person from the beginning. I mean, we can't be doing this, Matty Ice.
Unbelievable. I literally thought I was talking to one of one.
Yeah.
And then I just like, out of random, I just like looked and I was like, what is one of two? I said, did one of one change his name to one of two? And then right above it, one of one posted something and I'm like, nope, that's one of one. So I click on his name. And when I click on his name, it says, his name is Matty Ice 704 in the Discord, obviously.
Oh my God. Now I'm looking in the Discord and T. Higgins is hurt again. Are you kidding me? Oh my God. Get him on, Bengals. Oh, unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, one person on the show isn't shocked.
How in the world this dude gets hurt in practice more than anyone in the history of football?
Are we sure he got hurt in practice?
Well, where else? On the workbench? Where else? I don't know where else he would have got hurt.
Listen, Tony Allen's driving cars through garage, through garage
funny.
like headers or whatever the fuck they are. Like, you never know what these guys are doing. Who the hell knows what he's doing?
Now I'm rooting for the Broncos tonight. Broncos, you got to end it. Put my Bengals out of their misery. Knock
T.
them
Higgins
out.
probably like got a door closed on his finger and needs some rest, or on his knee, whatever the fuck it was. Oh, that's so good. Doesn't he rest on Wednesdays anyways?
He rests his punani.
I thought they rest their like good guys on Wednesdays. Do they not do that? I have no idea.
He was limited. It says in the Discord he was limited yesterday and wasn't even out there today. So
I like how it says with rest/knee. Who tweeted that?
Rest / being a punani.
Oh, that's good. Rest/knee. Ben, I don't know who this is, but very good. I like that. Rest/knee. All right. Good luck, Tony, with your Bengals.
Is it even an actual one? Is that I gotta look and make sure it's an actual human and they didn't trick us. Who's Ben Baby?
I have no idea. That's why I was laughing.
Yeah, it's legit. He's got 70,000 followers and it says Bengals something or other.
I was laughing because his name was Ben Baby and he said rest/knee. So I was like, what the hell is this bullshit?
I thought it could be like a troll account, so I had to look it up. It looked legit.
It could have been. No, you're right. It could have been. But I don't think
resting his meat sleeve.
Yeah.
I do like how that dude's name is Choke Hold'em.
Yeah, he's had some good comments too in the chat. He's had some funny comments. I've seen him post a few things in there. But back to Matty Ice. Matty Ice, fix this.
Yeah, that's
fix
bullshit.
It soon. Come on, Matty Ice. You're better than this. I'm going to be in the best ball chat grinding some playoff best balls. I can't be in there with you if you're just going to be
there he is. He's back. I see him in there. He's back. It's fixed.
We did it, Tony. We did it. I needed that to be fixed. I'm so happy it's fixed. Let's go, Matty Ice. Now I'm back. By the way, DraftKings, if you want to check out their playoff best ball contest, they have them. They're live on DraftKings, #DK partner. We'll be ripping some playoff best ball drafts all throughout the next couple of weeks. Well, I don't want to say we because I'm not going to put Tony in this, but we as in the Run Pure Sports Discord will be ripping some DraftKings playoff best ball contest. And Tony, I love that they released them earlier, and because I love the strategy of being able to draft earlier and be able to like say, oh, like the Bengals, for instance. Right now, the Bengals are going probably undrafted. You know, maybe you think the Bengals make it in the playoffs, and maybe you think they make it a couple games deep. Like maybe the Bengals are good plays. So it's just fun. You know what I mean? I think the Bucs are underrated. I'm going to draft more of the Bucs and the Rams. You make fun of me about the Rams.
The Bucs the entire show, literally.
I love this team. I love Bucky Irving. I love Mike Evans. I've always loved Mike Evans. That's not a secret. Mike Evans has always been one of my favorites, but they're just a good football team.
Us up for this Mondays. The people did good Mondays. We didn't talk about how good of takes we had on Monday with the 2-gamer. It was the winner because it was the 2 running backs. It was, you said Caleb plus the receivers. It was the only thing different was we didn't have Abdullah. Like we would never have played Abdullah.
You know what's the funniest thing? So I totally forgot to even talk about this, but do you know who was the highest scoring quarterback on the slate?
It was Ritter.
It was fucking Desmond Ritter. You know that guy that everyone in the chat said, oh, he sucks. And I went on a steal.
He was terrible. There was no quarterback points.
No. But don't you remember? I went on this like rant for like 3 minutes about how you can suck and be terrible, but score fantasy points. And that's probably what happened. Dude, the winner had Caleb Williams.
The problem is, though, this is where, like, roster, you would have never played the 2 Bears receivers with Ritter over Caleb.
But remember, that we talked about this. We said we liked the Bears receivers and the Atlanta receivers, right?
We had everything, yeah.
So in theory, if you listen to the show, we wouldn't have had Abdullah. But I'm saying in theory,
if you listen to the full Because we crushed with our build. Like, we crushed.
It was Drake London, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen was my play of the day, by the way. And you shit on him for being fat, and he owned your ass. Even though he was fat, he owned your ass. Absolutely owned it. I knew right when you called him fat, it was over for you. I knew he was doing it for the people, and he did it for the people. But it was Drake London, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore was the receiving combo, right, Tony? And then it was he was the tight end.
It was Hawkins. It was literally everything we said except for Abdullah.
Aaron Jones and Bijan, right?
Yeah.
Those were then it was Abdullah. And who was the defense? Falcons, I think.
Falcons, absolutely Falcons. They smashed.
And that was your favorite. I only gave two defense. That was your favorite defense. So
my main team was one dude off. It was, I mean, it's one off, but it was Abdullah for a scrub. So it was like, I never would have got it, but it's still one guy off if you somehow talked yourself into it.
I forgot about this too. Matthew's right. I didn't play him, but I did talk about how many routes he ran and that he's not like a terrible. But I won't lie.
To win 500K, you got to somehow talk yourself into that. Somehow.
I won't lie though. I didn't have him, even if I taught, because I kind of remember talking about him a little bit.
Going to get hurt either though. It was
another and you know what? I didn't love the running backs just because Desmond Ridder running, but that's the play that wins it. Like in the end, and it's always the one guy we don't like notice we're even talking about too much.
Ball up and do it. Just ball up and put one of those dudes in there.
But I want to go back to what you said. It's like you would have never had that build, but like on a 2-game slate, when you're building,
you could have had Abdullah. I don't think you could have played Ridder over Caleb.
Why couldn't you have played Ridder with Abdullah?
I mean, you could have done that, but you wouldn't have had the two Bears guys. I mean, you would have just had to have a total horseshoe.
We hated the receivers for the Raiders.
You just aren't getting to that though. You're having to leave you're not playing Caleb. You would never play Ridder over Caleb.
Why? I did.
Because you're playing Keenan and DJ Moore. You're not.
Dude,
if you have the salary, how would you do that? Out of just
I'm telling you, if I went back and looked at my builds, I know for a fact I played Ridder builds because I had 2 Bears guys on all my teams. I pretty much played 2 Bears guys and 2 Falcons guys on all my teams, which is exactly what I said pretty much on the show. Yeah. But the second Falcons that I didn't get there and I needed Abdullah, right? But I played only Ridder and Caleb. So when I go back and look at my teams, I'm going to see teams that had Ray or Darnell instead of Abdullah, obviously, but that went Ridder over Caleb.
Actually, Ray. That was my pivot, Ray instead of Abdullah.
Yeah, and then there's some where I played Mayer instead of TJ, or there's some where I played Bowers, spent up for Bowers and stuff. But my point is, like, why couldn't you? I just it's a 2-game slate. That's the shit that. You know,
I mean, if you throw it in the optimizer and somehow it spit out, you could have got it. You would have never hand built it though. There's no way.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I know I couldn't hand build that Abdullah team.
DJ Moore and Keenan Allen in there, and you can fit Caleb. There's no way they're like, I'm not playing Caleb. I'm playing Ridder.
I did that. No, I did that.
On a hand build, show me your team you played Ridder with those 2. I want to see it. I'm going to do what you did to me the one night. Send me that build where it's Ridder with 2 Bears receivers.
Hold on, since you're calling me out right now, I gotta pull up the receipts right now since you're fucking calling me out right now.
No chance.
Live on this fucking show.
But even if you did, that would be through the optimizer though, not you physically clicking it.
All my best ball teams are like, so I got to scroll past them all here. All right, here we go. Let's see if I can find one here. I bet you I can.
How bad was Kirk Cousins that night? That was one that he was so bad.
He was so bad. Benched, by the way.
Oh, he was
so bad.
He reminded me of Peyton Manning his last year in Denver when he won a Super Bowl because of how good the defense was. They just never let him throw the ball. It was embarrassing how bad he was.
Yeah, so here's okay. You see these builds though, they all have like a bust.
This is what he does, Matty Ice. He just randomly drops it in there. He's got multiple. He's got to scan through all his winning best.
Well, yeah, I gotta scan through, but the teams all suck because they all have a bust. You know what I mean? Like Mooney, I played here Ritter, Mooney, Adunze, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, like, but it has Ritter, it has Mooney.
You played Ritter with 3 Bears receivers?
Yeah, I played some random ass fucking shit. Like
you played Ritter with 3 Bears receivers?
Yeah, but it had Brock Bowers on it too.
Yeah. It doesn't matter anyways. The point being of the whole thing was we had a lot of calls that were good on Monday, so I wanted to stroke us up a little bit.
Except for your Kirk Cousins call, which we will not get into because he got benched. By the way, what do you think of Michael Penix?
I think he can't be worse than Kirk Cousins, so I think it's going to be a good move. I do think he throws good.
That's right, Jay. That's right, baby. I'm always at the top of those sites you don't know about. That's right. Hidden sites. It's my specialty. I think he could sling it, right? That's the one thing about Penix.
Sling it. I don't know if he will be able to read the defenses, but it can't be worse. They weren't letting Cousins throw, so I think it'll help him. And he gets the cupcake matchup right out of the gate versus the Giants. So
they literally weren't letting him throw at that. And
literally,
at that point,
it was like 3rd and 8, and they're running. It's like, what are we doing?
The craziest part, though, is their schedule is like they just got the Raiders. Now they get the Giants, and then they get, I think, the Panthers in week 18 or something. Like I think Washington in between.
In there for sure.
It's perfect. Yeah, it's so perfect.
I think he'll do good. I think he'll do good.
I hope he does because, like, I want to see those games and shootouts.
They got good position players, a good line. Their defense might suck, but their offense is good.
I'll tell you right now, Bijan's going for a big game this week. Bijan against the Giants. Bijan's he's gonna roll here. Penix can do anything decent. He's gonna roll. But all right, back to the showdown slate, Tony. Let's give our plays of the day, and then we'll get out of here. You got a favorite? I mean, it definitely seems like we're both on the kickers. I think both kickers are good too. I like Denver. I'm gonna lean with Will Lutz as my favorite, but there's no like. It's not like I think he's way better than Cameron Dicker. Like I'm going to have both these guys, and I will have double kicker builds too, which I don't know if we talked about at all, but I will have a couple double kicker builds because I could see them both having like decent games and going back and forth. So yeah, I'll give Will Lutz, and I'll let you give the other play because I think you're on the other guy I was thinking about. So you want to give your play?
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty simple slate for me just because Lutz and Dick are like, because I know I keep saying it, but those 4 guys, if you play them in the flex, it leaves you 5,600 a spot for the last 2. So no matter what, if you play Dicker and Lutz, you end up with the same. You got the most you could play is 3K price point Franklin in that build. So I probably like Lutz a little bit better too, but I like Dicker just as much. So I like that. But my guy for the night, like you said, is probably your guy too. But Franklin at that 3K price point, just because it lets you get up to a guy like Palmer. Like you can get to Palmer, you can get to the other kicker, either one. I like that build too with Franklin. So Franklin's my guy. I wish I could find one guy even cheaper. I think my total flyer, just because I feel like we've been too chalky with everything we've said, has kind of been in line. The one guy that I said it earlier in the show, but just to give like a totally random guy, I think DJ Chark would be my like 1% owned guy that I think could turn some heads tonight. And it might be one of these guys gets injured. These Chargers guys always get hurt, all of them. So why can't one of them go down tonight? Just because I don't want to give just the exact same takes where we all have the same team. I think DJ Chark would be my guy that could somehow do some things.
All right, there we go. If you want the rest of the takes, you can sign up. RPS15, 15% off is the promo code. Check it out. We got all the sports like Big T was talking about earlier in the show, college football, college basketball, We'll have you guys rolling all the way through. We got a bunch of 6 slates too. Saturday, I think there's 2 games on Saturday. Sunday slate. Tony, we're gonna
2
have
games
everything. All the
Saturday and 3
content.
playoff college football games Saturday. Saturday's the day to be run pure because we got Saturday is an awesome sports day. We don't have MMA, which me and you love, but we get it replaced with 3 playoff games.
Yeah, no MMA for a couple weeks now. It's a tough time, but at least we get these big games coming up, college football playoffs and
if there's ever 2 weeks
NFL.
not to have MMA, it's these 2 weeks or 3 weeks, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's like 3 weeks, and then like you said, we get I don't know how I feel about the Christmas Day football, to be honest with you.
I'm sure you hate it with the NBA, and it's on Netflix, which makes it even weirder.
I just don't. Christmas is NBA. Like that's just how I look at it. Like I wish football could do just every other day, but don't take Christmas. Like it's. I know
they were even allowed to. It's kind of just them showing off their flexing on people, but
they're flexing. I mean, they're gonna probably own the NBA.
AP's tweet was funny about Saturday though, talking about the NBA slate. Like I love NBA. If you're playing NBA this Saturday, man, it's a tough. That's
no,
tough.
But so the schedule makers gave big slate on Thursday, 3-gamer on Friday, and then big slate on Saturday.
On
like,
the
what
2
the fuck are
days.
we doing? Like, what are we doing, NBA? You're dumb. Your ratings are down, but there's little things like this that you do, and it's like whoever's doing these schedules is just absolutely dumb. Like, there's just no other way to put it. It's so bad. But don't worry, we'll have you covered either way.
Do we have a college football squint? Should we have a college football show for Saturday slate? What do they got? Do they got big they got to have a big contest for Saturday.
For Saturday?
So college football, Friday and Saturday are pretty good slates, but Friday's small. Let's see what Saturday.
I can't even see it.
Yeah, I mean 100K. I mean it's somewhat big. We'll see. Maybe we can do a show, but I don't know if it's. Yeah, we'll look into it.
All right. Well, there we go. If you want the content, RPS 15, hit the like button on the video. If you just want to support the show, it is free.
There's the last one actually. Where'd it go? Are we doing a Saturday live show for the 2-gamer? I don't make the show schedule.
Tony, would you like to do a Saturday show?
Someone volunteered in there. I seen someone wanted to do it. I forget who said it. I think I'm going to stick with my Sunday portion, but I think we have someone that wants to do a Saturday portion.
We will have a Saturday show. I don't know who it will be yet, but we will have a Saturday show. I thought Tony was about to volunteer, honestly. I thought he was about to
I didn't want to step on someone's toes. If the people want me, I'll hop on.
Oh yeah, because the when are the people not going to want you on a show, Tony? Get the fuck out of here. Oh, stop it. All right, we got to get out of here. I got birthday dinner soon. We got to get out of here.
You're going to be busy at the gym.
Yes. The only shot I was going to have of Big T getting in the gym was if I still owned my gym. That's probably the only way I could have got Big T into a gym setting was like him walking into the gym that I own, but I don't own it anymore. So that's probably.
If I lived by JSU, I'd let him get me going with some stuff. I don't mind getting in there, but I wouldn't do 2 workouts a day like him. I'd get in there and mess around.
We'd play hoops though. We'd play hoops.
Definitely do that for sure.
Yeah, we'd play hoops. We'd get you going that way. But all right, that's gonna do it here. We got to roll for Big T and myself, JSU. Good luck in your showdown contest. We will catch you guys on Friday. Print Factory, 3 p.m. Eastern time. Till then, we're out. Peace.